What's up guys, it is Chris back with another watch video, and today I just wanted to do a very quick comparison of a micro brand versus a major brand. And today we are going to be looking at three watches, and I'm going to throw in the third. It is a behemoth. It is the Abyss. So three watches here from two very different brands. We have Omega and then we have Zelos. Zelos are a micro brand that are located out of Singapore, and obviously Omega is a very old brand that have been making watches for a very long time, and this is the Omega Planet Ocean. This is a 600-meter dive watch with an in-house movement, all stainless steel construction, helium escape valve, ceramic bezel, and a very deep black dial with applied indices and lume. There is no lume bezel. Screw down crown, obviously, see-through case back, no micro adjust whatsoever on the clasp, but we do have a diver's extension, which is very nice. But there is no micro adjust whatsoever, and you can see that coaxial escape. This is a coaxial escapement movement. This is the Omega Coaxial 8500. This is basically made by ETA, but it is proprietary to Omega only. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful watch. Very nice bracelet. One of the nicest bracelets I think that you could find on a watch today. It just feels really good. It's comfortable. Big, chunky screwed-in links and a really chunky clasp. There is no micro adjust, like I mentioned. That's probably the biggest problem for this watch. Other than that, really nice watch in general. Very nice bezel action, and we'll hear that. Of course, sapphire crystal on both sides. Color match date wheel. The lume isn't so great on this watch. I will tell you, it is just okay. 46 millimeters, 45.5 millimeters for all intents and purposes. And then let's go to this watch right here, and this is the Mako version 3. Now this I have in a meteorite dial. However, they make this in very plain dials as well. I believe they will be coming out with the black sand, which I think is an excellent dial choice for any Zelos, because it usually is actually the cheapest, and it is by far one of the nicest, actually, in my opinion. It's very simple. It's very everyday, very similar to this Omega. It isn't textured, the Omega, of course, but it's a black dial, which is extremely useful, and with a nice black bezel insert, you can't really go wrong, I think. But in this case, I have the meteorite version. This is with a Miyota movement. It is thin, so it does have a Miyota movement. Of course, does not compare to the Omega's movement, but we have 300 meters water resistance, which I think is sufficient. You don't need 600. You don't need 3,000. I think 300 is perfect. And you have a really nice bracelet here with a very nice clasp, all milled, as you can see. Sounds really good. And you have plenty of micro adjust here, which is excellent. Double deployant to open it up. So really, actually, when you think about it, you have a lot more safety here than the Omega. You have a double folding clasp here, and you have the double deployant just like you do on the Omega. No diver's extension. That is okay, because I don't go diving for my purposes, and I would imagine many people who are buying a watch with 300 meters water resistance, they don't really even go diving. They don't, it's not something that they will actually use. Many people do. Now that's great. I'm just saying for the majority of people who are buying these are not. Probably they're more than likely desk diving. 40 millimeters is really great proportion for this watch. There is a taper on the bracelet. I also like that. The bracelet is really made, and you have screwed-in links. They aren't as big as the ones that are on the Omega, but it is very nice. And listen to the bezel action on this. Really nice bezel action. Something that I feel Zelos is definitely known for. They've made it a thing to have really nice bezel action. You have applied indices on this, just like you do on the Omega. Really, on the surface, if for someone who doesn't know anything about watches, they would look at these watches and they would not know that the Zelos costs a fraction of what the Omega costs. If you were to able to get this with a black sand dial, which you are not right now, I would imagine this would be in the neighborhood of around $369, $400 area. You have a signed Lume crown, and the Omega is in the neighborhood new, in the $6,000 neighborhood, and used is at around $3,000, $3,500. So there is a very, very big difference. Obviously, one is made in Singapore with many Chinese parts. The other is not. It is made in Switzerland with many Swiss parts. But I mean, you know, it is a very, very, very big difference, and there is better lume on the Zelos Mako than there is on the Omega. Now, another Zelos. This is an absolute beast. This is the thickest watch that I've ever held. I think it is 20 millimeters thick. It is extremely thick. It has a domed sapphire crystal, which is even. It seems like you know, it probably is thicker than 20 millimeters. It's probably even thicker with that domed sapphire crystal. I'm not sure. I would have to measure it, but both of these watches have ceramic inserts, applied indices. We have a running seconds here. This is a turbine. There's a running seconds on the Omega. This actually has a Salida movement, which is the SW260, which is the reason why it has running seconds at 6 o'clock. Again, same class that you would find on the Mako, extremely well made, very, very nice with tons of micro adjust. There is no diver's extension on this. This is a 3,000 meter dive watch, which I think is extreme overkill, unless you are, you know, definitely going diving for on your James Cameron, or you are Jacques Cousteau and you are diving on a very regular basis. There's really no need for 3,000 meters. And even if you are, there's still no reason for 3,000 meters. You could do with 2,000, 1,000, 200 would suffice. So you get a really nice bracelet on this watch, and it's all very, very well made. The case back is very nice. Again, you get a lume screwed in crown and a lume bezel. A lot of lume on this dial. I believe even the logo is lumed. The hands are lumed, obviously, and you get chapter rings that are lumed on Zeloses, which is crazy. I'm just pointing out that you can get a ton of value in micro brands, and I like both. So obviously, I own both of these watches. So I own the Omega, and this is my Mako version 3. I really like both of these watches, and I think both of these are really, really nice day-to-day watches. I would probably go with the black dial with the Mako if I were going to go day-to-day with something like this Mako. I think the black dial would work a lot better. But you're getting all different finishes on these watches, polishing on the edges of the bracelets, very, very similar. Matte finishes on the tops of the bracelets. You have matte and polishing on the sides of the watch. Beautiful bezel actions on both. You can get the Zelos with the ceramic bezel. This has a meteorite bezel, so both have ceramic bezels. Very interesting dials with applied indices and dates that are nicely applied. They both have color match date wheels, and they both sort of replace a full indice. I mean, really a lot of thought have gone into both of these watches, and they are extremely different price points. Again, I like both of them. I really love both of these watches, but you can see that you're getting a lot of value when you buy from a micro brand. And I'm just doing a quick comparison here. I don't think that the Mako is really a good comparison to the Omega, because, like I said, it is so thick. I think that the Mako does compare better. This is a little bit more of an extreme watch for very extreme diving situations, which I don't think I would ever encounter. But I will do a lume shot, and you will be surprised at how bad the lume is on the Omega versus these two watches. I'm always surprised when I see lume from Zelos. It is incredible. So let me do that really quickly. So I would say the major advantages for the Omega, obviously, is the pedigree. There is history behind this watch. Omega have been making watches for a very long time, and they have a very, very long and amazing history of innovation. And that doesn't end with this watch. The coaxial escapement movement that is in the 600 meter dive watch, Planet Ocean, it's an extremely cool watch, an extremely cool movement, and it's instantly recognizable. And these are things that are intangible, I guess. And not a lot of people would even know those things just looking at these watches, especially people who don't know much about watches. But there you go, and you could see, especially the Abyss. It's just so bright. It's comically bright, and you could see on the Omega, it is not. It is not that good. There is C3 Superluminova, I believe, on the Omega. There's a combination of both on the of BGW9 and C3 on the Zeloses, and they just put gobs of it on, so you get really, really bright, very legible Lume. Anyway, tell me what you think. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm comparing these watches. I like to compare watches, and it's something I do in my head all day long. Could be that I am a maniac. I'm not sure. However, tell me what you think. This is just something that came off the top of my head, and I decided to make a video about it. I decided to compare these watch brands, and I think it's kind of fun. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments below. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It's super helpful for the channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you for logging on.